Welcome to the podcast series, Small Business Survival Conversations. Through our weekly conversations, we hope to provide you with strategies and insights, knowledge and expertise to enlighten you as you work to build and grow your business. Here are your hosts, Anna Steinfest and Dr. Michael Troyer.
Welcome, everyone. This is Michael Troyer, and I'm here with Anna. Hi, Anna.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
And today we are talking about 4 guides to branding your business. And the focus here is on branding your business, which is another sort of branding you might think about as your product or your service. But we're starting with the business. So we've got some strategies for you to think about. And Anna.
And the first one we just will dive right in is consistency. And when we talk about consistency, you have to make sure not only consistency on the platforms, but consistency of how you offer your product, how the customer gets your product. And in fact, after they acquire your product or service, what do you do with the customer? Do you follow up? So all these little intricacies are still part of your brand if you have not thought about the business brand, because like Michael mentioned at the beginning of our episode, we're talking about the business branding here.
I have a quick example of that too. We all have cell phones. My cell phone carrier, I've had a lot of trust in, thought things were going well, suddenly ran into some battery problems, worked with them on it. They caused a major problem. Basically, my phone number disappeared, and that meant access to my phone disappeared. That meant no one could call me. And how do I change a phone number for all the contacts that I have? They eventually fixed the problem. But what I want to say is that the trust that one has in terms of this consistency, that's been damaged. I thought they were really, really good. Now I'm not so sure. I'm not leaving them, but I'm not so sure. That's what we're calling about branding and consistency. If you're going to be good, be good all the way through everything you do. And now they've shaken my trust because they made 2 mistakes that shouldn't have happened, in my view, as a customer.
And you're talking about you may not leave them right now, but I'm sure that you start looking for some other options because, like you said, they tarnish their brand. And once the brand is tarnished, it takes a long time because in customers' mind, they still will have doubts. Are they going to deliver the service they promise? So make sure that consistency throughout, not only just selling your product, but like with Michael's case, servicing the product is extremely important. Or service, in Michael's case, is more of a service, but still it's servicing it. It's not just dropping the ball.
It's all those interactions, and they're all important. They all have to be consistent. And yes, now I'm less certain. I might be looking at other carriers because I want to trust. So I'm shaken to my core when this all happened. I mean, I thought, oh, it's over with. Anna and I will never be able to talk together again. She won't know where I am. Anyways, all right. So consistency is the first one we want to point to, and you need to track it, look at it, make sure everybody's with you in your business on that same page.
The second one is a clear message to a complex audience. A lot of times I've seen a lot of companies where they will start their messaging towards their customers, and it is so complicated. Yes, they can understand themselves. The company can understand it because they're the expert into that. But think about, you are trying to project a message to an audience where they don't know as much as you do. That's why they're searching for your service or for your product.
And we want you to think about that complex audience. So some of them are really, as Anna's implying, some you think are very good with technology and they have no problems, but some are not. Some are even a little afraid of technology. Some you reach on the internet, some you reach by a phone call, some you reach somewhere else. It all depends in part on age and demographics and other issues, but you need to be able to talk to all those different audiences that you're trying to reach. And it has to be clear and simple. Yes, Anna, thank you. Simple, so that Michael can understand what you're trying to
That's
tell him.
correct. That's correct. So, and we will give you some tools in some other episode how we can even simplify the message, because I know that a lot of us are struggling. How do you simplify a message? But again, we promise you that we'll mention and we'll help you with some AI tools. This is another episode, so stay
Yeah.
tuned. But just right now, what we want to tell you and to think about is like, the next guide is make sure that you have a clear message to your product, and be careful, be mindful of the channels. Michael said, okay, are you reaching your customers through email? Are you reaching your customers via social media? All these different channels, you're touching your customers. You need to adapt to what the audience on that particular platform or channel they're looking for. And you have to, again, simplify your message.
And not everybody's on the same channel. So maybe half your customer base is on one channel, a third on another. You've got challenges. So have that in mind as you work on it. Our third little guide to you today is put the promise ahead of the product. And what we're saying there is you give a little personality, first of all, to your brand. I think of the gecko that sells me insurance. I think of the other products where they have a little fun with me, but that makes it stick in my mind. But I also know their personality, whether they care or not, whether they have my interests ahead of anything else. But when we say ahead of product, it isn't just in the product that you're giving them that promise. Your company is giving them that promise. So your message, your product, I'm sorry, is just an expression of that message. Everything you do should be that promise. Anna, my business is going to take care of you no matter what happens. We're going to be right at your shoulder to help in every way and fix things.
That's correct. The brand is a promise for delivering the best customer service or the best product, the best service. So it is a promise. Think about brand is a promise. When customers think about your brand, they are associating this with the promise that if they purchase your product or service, you're promising them that this is the experience they will get.
And we lead with that promise. We always lead
Yes,
with it. So if I say,
exactly.
Anna, if you're having trouble with my product, you call me right away. If Anna calls, I'd better be there and answer right away. So if Anna calls and has to try 3 times, I'm failing on my promise that I'm going to take care of Anna's problem. If I'm going to break the promise, I've got to follow through on it.
And don't forget, Michael mentioned it, I'm going to repeat it again, about expression or expressing your brand. He mentioned this Geico. I mean, it's memorable and it's unique. So when you're building your brand, try to put something in front of the customers or potential customers to punch them. There's a wonderful book, The Purple Cow, which says that, when you're driving, let's say I just will put it in a layman terms here, but when you're driving on the highway, especially in Wisconsin where we live, we have a lot of cows on the side roads, and you don't pay attention to these cows anymore. But suddenly, if you see a purple cow on the pasture, guess what? I guarantee you that you will slow down, or maybe you will stop. That's what you want with your branding. Again, with the messaging, but with the uniqueness and the brand, it's like, you want potential customers to slow down or to stop to look at you and give you a chance.
Yeah. And I think we have a movie star, Ryan Reynolds, and he's advertising a little company he's involved in, which is a phone carrier. He has a sense of humor. So the personality of Mint is the name of the company. The Mint is his personality, which has always got a joke in mind or a little lightheartedness. Well, a lot of people are going to go to try that carrier out because it's got that lighthearted feel. It's not a big company that doesn't care about any of its customers. This little company, as he implies, cares about you. That's that personality that's going to help that company grow.
The last one, Michael, it's commitment. Commitment when you evolve through the status quo.
And what we're thinking about there is if you've got a product out there or a service and you want to continue to be relevant to your customers, you're going to have to adjust to this very rapidly changing environment in which we all live now. So if you've noticed Chat GPT, which we'll be talking about in another episode at some point, that constantly evolves. They're evolving to serve us. You got to make that same kind of commitment. And what you can't do is sit back and say, "Oh, we're really doing well. Look at all the revenue we're bringing in and all the customers we're adding." You can't sit back and say, "Oh, I'm done. I don't have to do any more work." No, 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 no. You have to make the commitment to always be out ahead of that status quo. Don't let that settle in. It's never enough. Sorry, folks, but it's never enough. Keep pushing forward. That's your brand.
And Michael, you said it right. Just because everything changes, trend changes, people's tastes changed. I mean, think about yourself. I'm sure that, what you used to like 10 years ago, 5 years ago, no longer you like right now, or you change your taste. So make sure that the message is relevant. Make sure that you follow trends. Make sure that you have to check the pulse of your customers or potential customers at any time.
10, 15 years ago, if I'd gone to your website and you had 3 paragraphs, I'd have read the 3 paragraphs. Now I move on to another website because 3 paragraphs are too long. I don't have time to read 3 paragraphs. Give me 3 bullet points. That'll do. But don't ask me to read lots of stuff. That's all changed.
That's
so,
right.
You got to move forward.
Yes.
All right, Anna, you want to wrap it all up?
So today, what we recommend for you is like 4 guides that you have to be mindful when you're establishing your brand or being mindful of your brand. Number 1, consistency. Make sure that you're consistent all through all the channels and through all sides of your business. Number 2, a clear message to a complex audience. Make sure that you simplify and make sure that you deliver a simple message. Number 3, promise ahead of the product. And number 4, commitment. Evolve through the status quo.
There you have it. Remember, you can download this and listen to it again. We hope this helps you brand your business.
You've been listening to the Small Business Survival Conversation podcast. Make sure to like, rate, and review the show. And don't forget to join us next week for another episode. In the meantime, hook up with us on our Facebook group at Small Business Survival Tools and Tips. Till next time, thank you for listening.